indie comics, there were so many times where I kind of maybe could have made it if conditions were different. And then something went wrong with the publisher, or I pissed off the wrong people, or there was a million different reasons, or maybe I sucked. There was no way to know. And then a couple of years ago, I had like crazy drama happen to me online, and then through just several.
What do you mean, like someone trying to cancel you or something?
Yeah, there was this whole Reddit story. I've told the story a million times, so I don't want to be a dummy and keep repeating it. I feel bad, but
I've never even heard of you having Reddit drama, so maybe
I mentioned it briefly on Tim's show or something. But long story short is I pissed off Reddit. I had drawn a bunch of comics that were really popular, and they had upvoted it to like the front page. I don't know if you know how Reddit works.
Do you know how Reddit works? Yeah, I hear about. I know what's down with what's up with Reddit. There's upvoting, downvoting.
Yeah, so you could downvote something and it'll basically vanish, but all the upvotes and you get coins or whatever, and it gets promoted until you reach the front page. So a comic I did reach the front page, and they hadn't heard of me, and then they went to my Twitter and found out that I like follow conservatives and stuff. I had like 200 followers on Twitter at the time. This would have been like 3 years ago.
Wow.
And, yeah, so the whole website, and I mean the whole website of Reddit, was like, oh, we accidentally uploaded a Nazi, which I'm not.
What?
Yeah, and so they're like, oh, he follows X, Y, and Z. They're scrutinizing everything I ever posted. I couldn't even respond on Reddit. Like, I was trying to defend myself like an idiot. I didn't know the rules at the time.
Do you remember what comic it was that blown up?
I could show it to you.
Was it black and white with the ghost? Because I'm trying to look it up.
No, it was... See, I could tell you how to look it up, but it might take too long. If you go to Reddit/users gprime85, I stopped posting after this, but it was one where there was a famous comic artist who was getting skewered to death by the Reddit comics community, and I was criticizing them by saying, this is what you do to your creators. You build them up to be your king, and then you murder them. And the joke was, hey, here's our new king. It's George. And then they say, hey, come sit on your throne, and it's his body. And basically the joke is we're going to do the same thing to you. And, not to toot my own horn too much.
Toot it.
They did the same goddamn thing to me the next day. I told them they were going to do it, and they did it. And so I was canceled off of Reddit, and I was like, oh, shit, my career's... Can I curse? I'm so sorry. I know you've cursed.
Curse away. I'm trying so hard to find this comic. Maybe I'm retarded, but...
It's... How do I even look it up? I think if you go to my Instagram, I don't want to waste your time.
No, you're here to waste my time.
It's on my phone. I do nothing but waste women's time.
Oh, stop it! And then you say that, and then we go, no, we love you. All right, I'm on your IG. Should I scroll to the bottom?
Probably it's near the bottom. I don't know if I even uploaded it. It was a long time ago.
What you're describing sounds like a Comicsgate thing.
Yeah, actually, I don't know how much you want to get into it, but it was Comicsgate that was the community who were kind enough at the time to, how do I put it?
Take you in.
They were the only ones willing to listen to my story. But then all this shit happened with me in comics, and I decided not to talk to them anymore too.
Oh, really?
It was terrible. Like they were really cool people, but there were a few bad actors. I don't want to get too into it, I guess.
Okay. Because I've had a couple people on the show who've talked about Comicsgate, so yeah. I know a little bit about it. Basically, like they're this group of people who are against comics, like getting woke and getting away from their true like stories and lore, and right, and being canceled, being fired from DC or.
Yeah, on paper, it's an amazing idea. I really liked a lot of them before all this Reddit stuff happened to me, and they were really cool for a little while. But what happened with them was pretty much they had a few people who were behaving really in a way that I thought was super unprofessional. And
the Comicsgate people.
Yeah, just a small fraction of them.
Yeah.
But the community wasn't willing to call them out on it, long story short. And
oh, because it was like, oh, they're still part of the group, so even if they're a little out of line.
Yeah, and so I was fighting with them about like, hey, as if I was one of them, like we shouldn't be cool with this, but I fought with too many people, and I just decided, I'm better off just being me. And if they want to follow me, cool. If they want to call me names, what am I? I'm not going to stop them. So.
Why do you feel like they came after you? You seem like such a cool, nice guy, and you're talented.
I definitely kicked that hornet's nest, and I think I have a pattern of that. So it's probably my fault. I criticized one of their leaders, basically, and I called him names, and I said, hey, you have the power to stop this misbehavior, and you're not. And it was just a clusterfuck. So I don't talk to their leadership, but I don't pick fights with them anymore. I don't see the reason. I don't see the point. But in general,
looking back, would you have handled it a little differently now?
It's hard to say, because I still am not cool with the behavior that I objected to initially.
You don't have to out who it was, but what was the behavior that you had a problem with that you thought was out of line?
Let's say going too hard against critics.
Okay.
So people who are criticizing creators, and I've been criticized many times, and people have gone on blast on me many times, and it's been hard. It's hard when thousands of people are coming after you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that.
Really, the only thing you can do is just take it and just try not to let it get to you, because eventually they'll get bored and move on. But the policy for a lot of people at the time was just, hey, let's go after them as hard as they're going after us. And I didn't think that was professional. And it was not a good long-term strategy, because we wanted to be the people. I don't mean we as if I was a part of a team or anything, but I want my profession to be in this, like, as much as I piss people off, I also don't want them to really hate me, if that makes sense. Like, you can get mad at a comic I drew. People call me like racist or something, but if you actually read the comics as multiple, like dozens or hundreds of them in a row, you'll see, like, no, he's very fair, I hope, in like, I criticize everyone as equally as possible. I have certain personal beliefs that maybe get accidentally drawn into this comic, but like, in general, I want as many people, any reasonable person, let's say, to read my stuff and say, if I don't like this or that one, I still like this other 100 and something, or hundreds of comic strips. Like, I've drawn many thousands of pages or something. Like, if you don't like this, perhaps you'll like this book. And so that's what I want to try to do with my career. I understand that I, poke fun at the left, specifically the far left, a lot.
Because they make it so easy.